Hi, boys and girls. Our book for today is The Secret Life of the Woolly Bear Caterpillar by Laurence Pringle. And we borrowed this book from the Burlington Public Library, which is not far away from the Central Skagit Library. Bella walks in a jungle of grasses, clovers, and wildflowers. Hidden from sight, she begins a secret life. Bella is no ordinary caterpillar. She is a banded woolly bear caterpillar, one of the most popular and beloved of all insects. Bella's body is covered with black hairs, called setae, at her front and rear ends, and a band of reddish-orange hairs around her middle. She looks fuzzy, but her setae are not soft to touch. They feel like stiff bristles of a brush. As Bella walks, her body undulates like an ocean wave. She seems to flow over the ground, but her walk is complicated. She moves 16 legs of 2 different kinds. Just behind her head are 3 pairs of true legs on her thorax, each tipped with a single claw. When Bella chews on a leaf, these 6 legs are good for holding the leaf steady. They also help her climb. The rest of her body are prolegs, on the rear part of her body, her abdomen. They support her body and help move it along. These stumpy prolegs have small hooks called crochets at their end that grip whatever is beneath Bella as she walks. Bella grabs a clover leaf and begins to chew with strong, sharp mandibles. Behind the mandibles, on each side of her head, are 6 small eyes called stomata. Bella's stomata can't see details very clearly, but they can detect motion, and sometimes danger. Something is moving quickly toward her. In an instant, Bella curls her body into a tiny ball and stays still. A garter snake slithers close and stops. Its forked tongue flicks in and out, in and out. Since garter snakes don't usually eat hairy caterpillars, the snake moves on. Bella uncurls her body and continues to search for food. She finds it with her keen sense of smell. Many tempting odors waft through the air. The meadow where her life began is a thicket of grasses, clovers, plantains, dandelions, asters, goldenrods, and more. To Bella, they all taste good. Bella may be a tiny caterpillar, but she has a big appetite. Day after day, she eats and eats and eats. Wherever she feeds, she leaves caterpillar droppings, called frass. At night, or when it rains, she rests in a sheltered place. One day, Bella stops eating. She lies still and bends her head. From the spinneret on the bottom of her head, Bella lets out some silk. She spins a mat on the ground, then hooks the end of her legs onto the mat, holding tight. Her body begins to quiver, and her exoskeleton splits open. Bella is molting. She wiggles and wriggles and writhes, breaking free of her old body. She even sheds the exoskeleton of her old head. Her new, bigger head is brown at first, then darkens as it hardens. She walks away as a bigger woolly bear with a wider reddish-orange middle than before. But one thing has not changed. She is hungry. As summer days pass, Bella molts 3 more times. Each time she grows bigger. Each time more of the middle of her body becomes reddish-orange. Living on the ground in a jungle of meadow plants, Bella's life is still a secret. No human sees her, though nearby wild creatures might. She walks past ants, sow-bugs, and field crickets. She eats near grasshoppers, stink bugs, and spiders. One cool September morning, Bella is startled by a sudden shadow. Bella feels herself lifted off the ground. A blue jay holds her tightly in its beak. The jay could swallow Bella whole, but something about Bella, perhaps the bristly feel of her body, stops the bird. It drops Bella and flies off. Bella stays perfectly still, curled up. Then, when it's safe, she uncoils. She lifts her head to sniff the air. Ah, some tasty leaves ahead. She hurries toward them. As autumn days pass, Bella's world changes. The air grows colder, especially at night. Sometimes in the morning she lies still and warms her body with the energy from the rising sun. As some leaves change color and fall to the ground, Bella searches for green leaves to eat. After 2 months of life, she is nearly 2 inches long, and with a broad band of reddish-orange hairs around her middle. Then she stops eating and sets off on a journey. Bella walks for days, through a small forest and across lawns and gardens. Each night she curls up in a hideout, then begins to explore again. It is now, when she's a good-sized caterpillar and on the move, that she's most likely to be seen by people. She reaches a wide, barren space. As she begins to cross, something huge rushes toward her. It rushes overhead, then disappears. Whoosh! A swirl of wind ruffles Bella's hairs. She keeps walking. She does not know about the danger of streets and cars, but someone does. Fingers grab Bella and pick her up. Nestled in the palm of a hand, she is carried safely across the road and set down gently in a field. Left alone, she waits, then uncurls her body and begins to walk again. At the edge of the field, a rocky wall rises in front of her. There, Bella finds what she has searched for. A secret, safe shelter. She curls up under some dead leaves and stays there, day and night all through winter. Snow covers the stone wall. With Bella's body, a chemical called glycerol keeps ice from forming in her cells. Frosty winds may blow, but Bella is asleep, alive and well. In the warming days of spring, Bella awakens but moves very little. She waits and waits until grasses, dandelions, and other spring plants sprout and grow. Only then does she leave the stone wall and begin to eat. She feasts for a few days, then hides in an open space among the stones. There, using the hair setae from her body and silk from her spinneret, she weaves a cocoon that encloses her whole body. Inside the cocoon, Bella molts one last time. This time, however, she changes into a smooth, shiny pupa. Inside the pupa, amazing changes happen to all the cells that once made up Bella's caterpillar body. An adult moth's body begins to take shape. All of these changes are secret, hidden from sight from inside her cocoon that is hidden in the stone wall. On the warm spring evening, the cocoon begins to jiggle and shake. It opens on one end and an adult moth crawls out. Once free, it holds onto the cocoon as its wings spread, dry, and become strong. Then the moth walks out into the open. With the very first beat of her wings, she lifts off the ground and flies into a starry night sky. Bella's life as a woolly bear egg, caterpillar and pupa is over. Now she begins a new kind of life as an adult Isabella tiger moth. In the nights to come, she will sip nectar from flowers, find a mate, and then lay a cluster of pearly eggs. Within each egg will develop a banded woolly bear caterpillar. From each tiny egg, a tiny caterpillar will wriggle out, and each one will be ready to start its own secret life. Wow, did you know any of that stuff, Olive? No. Neither did I. That was really interesting. There's a lot of woolly bears where we live, so that's pretty cool. All right, boys and girls, we hope you enjoyed that book. Have a great day.